Good morning, class. Today is another day to learn. I am teacher Jessa, and together we will embark on the rewarding journey of learning. Our lesson today, class, is verbal communication and non-verbal communication. Can anyone from the class tell me what's verbal communication? Okay, how about non-verbal communication? Yes, that's right. Verbal communication is using words to share ideas, whether spoken or written. On the other hand, nonverbal communication is sharing ideas without words, like through gestures, facial expressions, or body language. Are you ready to learn, class? Very good, because I'm excited to see you learn. But first, class, let us look in objectives of our discussion today, okay? First, we have differentiate verbal communication from nonverbal communication accurately and recognize its different types. Second, appreciate the importance of knowing about verbal and nonverbal communication and apply their learnings in their daily lives. And third, and the last, communicate effectively with other people using verbal and non-verbal communication. Now, to start our lesson, I want you to go to your browser and search for Mentimeter. Once you find the site, enter the code shown on the upper portion of the slide. It's 7176941. Again, go to Mentimeter and enter the code shown in the slide. Once you're already there, give me a brief or one word that comes to your mind when you think of communication. Okay, class, I will give you 2 minutes to submit your answer. Don't worry, class, because you will remain anonymous, so I won't know even if your answer is not correct. Okay, only 6 students responded. Where are my other students? Anyway, I can see that you have knowledge about what is communication, and thank you so much for these 6 students for participating. Now, to begin with, you already know, class, that communication is a process of sharing and conveying messages or information from one person to another within and across channels, contexts, media, and culture. And we can communicate, class, in 2 ways. It could be through verbal communication and also have non-verbal communication. So for verbal communication, class, we have this refers to an interaction in which words are used to relay a message, while nonverbal communication refers to an interaction where behavior is used to convey and represent meanings. Now, let's go back to verbal communication and let's talk about how we should execute this properly in order to have effective communication. So, these are the things that you really need to consider when communicating with others verbally. So, we have first appropriateness. This means the language used should be appropriate to the environment or occasion. Di ba, class, throughout our lives, we encounter different people anywhere and anytime. And those people have different characteristics, personalities, abilities, professions, and many more. And because of this, we can really say not all people are the same. That's why, really, a must, you should really know how to deal with different people with different occasions. Okay, it's not about being hypocrite, class. It's not about being plastic, but it's about being matured on how you should deal different people with different occasion. Okay, because this level of formality, it's formality class that we should follow when you communicate with certain people. For example, class, if you are in this situation, how will you behave and communicate? Will you act as if you are in just talking to your friend, like best friend? Definitely not, okay? If you are in a formal settings class, as much as possible, try to avoid speaking casually and act like you are in your house. Since you are in a formal setting man class, then you should be formal at all times. And that includes the way you dress, the way you talk. Remember, you will dealing with professionals. Then you should act like one, okay? But how about in this scenario, class? Will you behave the way you behaved earlier? Of course not. It's no longer necessary for you to act formally here because in this situation, this is already the time that you are already allowed to act casually. Since you are on the party man, you can chill, relax, and then just have fun. Okay? So, this is the time that you truly express yourself. You can shout here, you can dance also, anything you want to do since already a casual occasion. Just remember lang class, just act and speak accordingly in every situation that you are in. And that's the meaning of appropriateness, my dear students. And I really hope that you will apply this one since this is really very important. Next feature of verbal communication, we have here brevity. Now, for brevity class, this means that you have to use simple yet precise and powerful words. Avoid fillers in insubstantial expressions. So actually, this is the same with conciseness. So for brevity, just avoid unnecessary information, especially if this is formal communication. Just be direct na lang to the point when speaking. Okay? Next feature, we also have clarity. For clarity, you have to clearly just remember, class, to always state your message and express your ideas and feelings. So clearly to avoid any assumption and misunderstanding class, okay? No need to discuss this further na because it's clear naman jud. Next, we also have here ethics. Now for ethics class, words should be carefully chosen in consideration of the gender, rules, ethnicity, preferences, and status of the people you are talking to. Try to imagine, class, talking to a child? How about talking to a woman, a man, to an old person, to a beggar, or to the president? Or how about imagining talking to your crush or to a foreigner? Okay, then imagining. I hope you did. Now, did you communicate in the same way with those people? I bet not. Because when we communicate class, the word we use varies depending on the age, gender, and ethnicity of that person. Okay, for example, when you communicate to a child, will you use complicated words? Will you use words that only adults should hear? Of course not. Same goes to those people older than you. You really have to use words that shows respect. And the gender also matters, diba? Our approach when we communicate to a woman is different when we communicate to a man. Gentle type women ang katok compared to a man. Okay, just remember lang jud class when you communicate with other people, you really have to take note or consider appropriate ethics for those kind of people. And the last you need to consider when talking to other people verbally is we have here vividness. So find ways to charm your audience through the use of vivid words. For easy understand of information class or you message, you really have to use words that can have the receiver picture out or visualize of what are you trying to say. Okay, so those are the things class that you really have to consider when communicating verbally with other people. And before we proceed to nonverbal communication class, let's have a quick review first. So, for verbal communication, we have to consider the following. We have here appropriateness, brevity, clarity, ethics, and the last one, vividness. Appropriateness class refers to use an appropriate language. Brevity use simple yet precise and powerful words. Clarity clearly state your message and express your ideas and feelings. Ethics refers to choose your words carefully. And the last one, vividness, find ways to charm your audience through the use of vivid words. Now, let's proceed to nonverbal communication. Diba, nonverbal communication is the opposite of verbal communication, and this refers to the uses of action and communicating instead of using words. And there are actually many types of nonverbal communication. We have the following: adornment, chronemics, haptics, kinesics, locomotion, facial expressions, oculesics, olfactics, paralanguage, posture, and the last one, proxemics. So let's discuss these types of nonverbal communication one by one. Let's start first with adornment. So this type actually refers to how a person present himself or herself. For example, by the items of clothing that you use, hairstyle, and jewelry. So for adornment class, we all know how we present ourselves, a various impression to those people who will see us for the first time. So the way we dress, the accessories that we use, the style we follow, then let people think different version of ourselves. So adornment class, it is something to do how you present yourself to others. It's really important, especially if you want to leave a good impression to other people. Next, we also have chronemics. Now, for this type of nonverbal communication, this actually refers to how people communicate through their use of time. So, for chronemics class, again, this is something to do with the time. Now, for the next type of nonverbal communication, we have haptics. So, this type class refers to tactile communication or communication through touch. So, for haptics class, again, this is something to do with touch. The way you touch other people can tell what kind relationship you have to them. For example, if you shake hands with other people, it could be it's the first time meeting them or you have a deal both. But if you hug someone, it could be your family member or your close friend. Okay, that's you. So, okay, no, that's what you mean by haptics communication through touch. Now, let's proceed naman to the next type of nonverbal communication. We have kinesics. So, this type of communication with other people through your body language. So, for kinesics class in this type of nonverbal communication, we focuses communication through body language. For example, here in the Philippines, we if we shake our head, that's mean no. And another example, diba, if we don't know the answer of a certain thing, instead of saying I don't know, we should sometimes shrug our shoulder, and that's what mean by kinesics class, communicating through your body language. Now, let's proceed to the next type. We have locomotion. And in this type of class, it is something to do with movements. So, the way you move can also have certain meaning to those people who will see you. And for the next type of nonverbal communication, we have facial expression. So I know that you already familiar naman with this one, or wherein you can express your emotions or messages using your face. Okay? Now, for the next type, we have oculesics. In this type of nonverbal communication, this is something to do with eye behavior. So, meaning to say, you communicate through your eyes. So, for the next type of nonverbal communication, we have olfactics. In this type of communication, this actually focuses on your communication through your smell. Next, we also have paralanguage, and this is something to do with your voice, qualities, and manner of speaking, which includes pause, silence, volume, tone of voice, and the last one we have speed. Now, let's proceed naman to the last type of no. Next is a posture. In this type, this is something to do with the position of your body. So here, now let's proceed naman to the last type of nonverbal communication. We have proxemics. This refers to interpersonal space. It's about the distance of communicating. Distance matter class if you're, for example, communicating with your family. Of course, no? Closer ang space. 'Di ba? Pero if you dealing with professionals, since di kayo mo close class, personally, then you really have lived a space in that person. Okay? Pero if you are with intimate relationship, of course, doon jud kayo mo ang inyong space, no? That's what you mean sa proxemics class. Also have to consider interpersonal space of those people that you are communicating with. And before we end this video class, let us have a quick review. So these are the types of nonverbal communication. So we have adornment, chronemics, haptics, kinesics, locomotion, facial expressions, oculesics, olfactics, paralanguage, posture, and the last one we have proxemics. Activity time. So we will have another activity class. This time I want to know if you're paid attention to the discussion class. Okay, please go to quizzes class, or you can simply follow the link present here in the slide. So here's the link, and I will present here in the slide the code for you to easily access it. Okay, there. Come class, I will give you 5 minutes to get ready. All done? In quizzes, you will find 15 items there class. Okay. All you have to do is choose the correct answer. And read and analyze each item class and choose the correct answer. Answer that in 10 minutes, okay? Your time start now. So here's the questions. Okay. Everyone finished the quiz already. And look, we have 90% accuracy. Great job, class. Did you learn a lot today? I sure hope so. Let's have another activity. Just kidding, class. This is just an assignment. You will submit this next meeting, class, which is on, yes, on Tuesday. What you will to do, class, is go to Google Classroom, class, and look for the classwork I posted. Mm-mm. Are you done? Okay, the instruction there, class, is already there. But if you have questions, you can message me through my Gmail account or on our group chat. Okay, bye, class. See you on Tuesday. Thank you for listening, class. That's all for today.